Okay, so hey Tracy, are you ready for this?
We are very excited today.
So
And please say what's happening today.
Hey guys, so this is our first carpool podcast. We are doing this and we are so excited. First time ever.
Yep.
We're on our way to pick up James Liotta. Actually, we're already here. We're just waiting for him to come outside. He's just about to get into the car. Oh, here he is. Come on. Here's James Liotta, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thanks a lot. Airport, please. Airport.
We're not your Uber.
You're not Uber?
No.
Is this Uber Black, Uber X Black or something? Oh, ladies.
Sorry, you're
Thank
going to have
you.
to call your own Uber.
Hang on. Do I need this?
Yes.
Oh, it is a podcast. There we go. No. How well prepared.
Something we prepared earlier.
Welcome to Perth and welcome
you.
to the Ladies' Lounge.
I love the ladies' lounge. This is, I got to say, the last time I was in a car with two ladies, I was kicked out. But the ladies' lounge is fantastic because I'm here.
30 minutes and then we're going to
And you're out. I'm out. I'm here to perform at the Comedy Lounge. So there's only one podcast I could come on, and that's the Ladies' Lounge.
I mean,
yeah.
we even call this the Ladies' Lounge on purpose.
I know. And there was another podcast that approached me called The Men's Lounge, and I said, no, not for me. That's fine, but it's just not for me. I go for the ladies. That's it. So anyway, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So you're here for the Comedy Lounge.
I am.
You did a show last night.
Yep.
How did it go?
It's really good fun. I've been to Perth before many times with colleagues of mine like Tahir and George Capanaris and Piero Villavatene, who I do my People Pasquale shows with.
Very
Oh, he's got an exotic name. Piero Villavatene has got an exotic name. And
I would never try.
don't worry about it. Don't worry. PV. I call him PV. PV. Yeah, that's it. But I've never performed at the Comedy Lounge, which is a great institution, one of Australia's most popular comedy lounges. We've got one in Melbourne as well called the Comics Lounge, very similar.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. So
great.
I'm very grateful to be here.
And do you live in Melbourne?
I'm in Melbourne, yeah.
So were you there when the earthquake hit the other night?
Do you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
First of all, I was not. I was in Sydney, and I was like, I miss all the fun stuff. Do you know they had another earthquake last night on the Mornington Peninsula, a little one, a two point something, and guess where I was? Bloody Perth. I miss all the fun. I'm missing
disasters left, right, and centre.
God's got something in store for me. Like, you are not going to be part of any earthquakes, except your own life. That's it. So
let's take it back to where it all started.
Yeah.
Your dad was an actor and a playwright. Is that
yeah,
correct?
he was. My father.
What influence did that have on your childhood?
Well, all of it pretty much, because
Yeah.
as a child, my father used to be heavily involved in Italian theatre, so he used to write plays and comedies in Italian, and it was like a side hobby. So it was like a sort of a semi-professional theatre. So I grew up in that environment, and some of my first performances as a child were actually in spoken Italian language, and that's where I got the acting bug from. But acting and performing is performing. What language you perform it in is kind of irrelevant. The bug of performance is in you. So I started pretty young.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what sort of jobs did you do as a child actor?
As a child actor, because I had an agent when I was about 8 years old. You know, these child.
Wow.
Yeah. So people go, how long have you been in the business? I'm like, about 35 years. And they're like, when did you start? And I did. I professionally started really young.
Crazy.
But as a kid, I did commercials, things like that. Commercials. I did amateur theatre, but on TV.
To start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So commercials, little parts would come up. I did audition for some stuff that, had I been lucky, would have propelled me from a very young age.
Yeah.
I auditioned for like the Power Rangers movie as a teenager.
Wow.
I auditioned for like some ABC shows where I got shortlisted, but no cigar, as they say. But yeah, so it goes the way it goes, but it didn't deter me. And you find your niche.
And
yeah.
are you full Italian?
In terms of body hair, or like. It's a very personal question. Yeah, they're both Italian. I'm born here. I was born in Melbourne, but yeah, both Italian. Both. Let me check. Both Sicilian. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Sicilian. I'm over here, just a halfer though.
You're half
Yeah,
Sicilian.
half Sicilian. Yeah, yes,
There
that's
you go.
fantastic. Oh God, you've thrown me.
I know.
So I was going with, how did you get the name James?
Interesting
Because-
question
yeah.
because I talk about that in my comedy set that I'm doing currently at the Comedy Lounge. I have a whole routine on
Yeah.
that because it's not a very traditional
No.
Italian name.
Yeah,
And
I'm trying to say it in Italian.
Yeah.
There's
No, there
Italian.
isn't.
well, there is.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. But so James in Italian is
Jim.
Giacomo.
Right.
Oh, Giacomo.
Giacomo.
Huh.
But I was not baptized Giacomo. I was
No.
baptized James.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although my parents can't say the name. My dad calls me John.
What does he call you?
John. So
That yelling with it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense
You
if he
can
just
yell.
says it. I
You
love
yell.
it. I
you
love
try, you
it.
try saying John.
Jam.
Yes.
Jam.
And sometimes he doesn't add the S in, so I have to add it. He goes Jime, and I go. Like, so it's interesting because people think, Italian, you got to be called Mario,
Yes.
Luigi,
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
all those video game names. But it's, and look, if you come and see any of my shows, I do talk about this. There's a little bit more extended set
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
I can't give you all my material.
No.
on,
So do you have a middle name?
yeah, I do. I mean, I don't use it, but my middle name's Anthony.
Okay.
So I'm James Anthony.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Italian.
Do you ladies have a middle name?
We do.
Well,
What is it?
look, mine is full Italian, but I make it a more
The middle name?
Australian
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
So mine's Maria.
We're Marie. I'm Marie.
And,
You're Marie.
and I make it Marie.
And you
Mm.
what? You both
Yeah.
both have the same middle name.
I know.
Yeah, but
I know.
And my mum's name's Maria. Of course.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I think Maria and Anthony would
Yeah.
have to be the two most common.
Anthony's
names.
pretty, like Antonio, but it's Anthony.
Yeah.
But it's
it's Anthony. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's not Antonio. It's Anthony. But I don't use it. Like I don't
No,
sign it.
No.
It appears on my license as an initial, but
Yeah.
It's useless, isn't it?
yeah.
Were you terrified the first time you went on stage as a stand-up comic?
As a stand-up, the very, very. I mean, it's been a long time now, but as a stand-up, yes, it is.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Like it's a very vulnerable position to put yourself in
Yeah.
because every stand-up goes out there going, "I'm funny, and I hope you find me funny because
Yeah.
I think I'm funny."
Yeah.
Admittedly, not everyone
No.
is
It's
always
It's very
funny.
relative,
But-
isn't it?
Entertainment is subjective, and we've got to
Yeah.
remember that it is very subjective. What is funny to one person is not funny to another person.
Is there different audiences, like Perth audiences, different to Sydney, Melbourne?
Yeah, absolutely. You do
Yeah.
find as you travel around and do more shows. For example, look, I love all audiences because they all challenge you
Yeah.
and they give you something different to think about. But obviously, your own hometown is always going to be
Comfortable.
more loving and warm to you just because you've done more shows there
Yeah.
and they appreciate that you're one
Yeah.
of them. As you travel around, like Sydney's great, but they make you work harder for it. They're a bit more like, I want to be impressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adelaide's sort of in between. That attitude, it's an in between kind of thing where they're easier, but sometimes
Yeah.
it's too easy, And Perth is interesting. Perth, I find very much like at the Comedy Lounge. I found them like Sydney. Like you got to know your stuff. You got to work. Yeah. They make you work for it, but there's nothing bad about that. That's good. That's a good thing. Keeps you on your toes, and I like the challenge.
So, we interviewed George a little while back, and he was saying, we were saying, how do you deal with hecklers
Yeah.
and stuff like that? And he was saying when he works with Tahir, he actually loves using
Wants
that
that.
spur of the moment type thing, and he'll
Yeah.
use it in his story. Do you work with hecklers like that?
Yeah,
or,
absolutely. It depends on what the heckle
or
is.
do you just think, oh gosh, I'll just ignore that?
Move
No,
on.
because sometimes you can't. If a heckle is heard by everyone
I
in the
know.
audience,
Yes.
you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you look silly for
Yeah,
ignoring it
yeah.
because everyone else has heard it, So it really depends what the heckle is. If a heckle is genuinely funny and it's adding something,
Yeah.
comics
Go
will
with it.
acknowledge it.
Yeah.
We
And
will,
you go,
we will laugh. We
So
will
you
break
have
down
to
and
be
laugh.
quick, on your
Yes.
feet, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Thinking.
Some heckles are stupid. Some heckles are just noises that people just.
Oh,
make.
you're
Yeah,
a dad.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And
exactly.
if they're rude, then
Yeah.
you've got to be on your toes. You've got to shut them down.
Yes.
Through comedy, through whatever means you have to kind of
Yes.
shut them down because you
yeah.
can't expect them to
Yeah.
continuously be rude.
No.
So-
And how did the pandemic change your sort of comedy And did you think about, like, when we had the pandemic, did you think, like, oh, gosh, I need a backup plan? Like, what if comedy doesn't work out? You know, because we were shut down for a while.
Yeah. Definitely shut us down, the entertainment business. It was one of the first to stop and one of the last to come back because it deals directly with the public audience and big groups of people coming together. So it was very difficult. It did give us an immense amount of content, though.
Yes.
Even to this day, like even now, we're still doing COVID jokes and lockdown jokes, especially if you're from Melbourne. They're never ending.
Never end.
Yeah, I know.
No, I never though thought I need to find
No. So you don't have a backup plan, like I'll be a plumber.
No.
Or
I'm not. No,
He's not a tradie.
So
I'm not
from here
qualified to
saying-
do
Go
anything.
tradie.
So from here, in the next 20 to 30 years, it looks like maybe aged care retirement, like stand up or.
It's still working. I'm still doing stand up. Just a different audience. That's all. No backup plan. I've been lucky enough to work professionally from a very young age in the business. And maybe that's where this some level of success has been because there wasn't a backup plan.
Yeah.
But I totally understand that people need one because you got to pay your bills.
Yes.
You got to live. Like you can't.
Exactly.
And how do you find the travelling involved? Like, obviously, Perth's 3.5 hours from Melbourne.
It's funny because it's longer coming here and then coming back it's quicker.
Yeah,
something about the
that.
tailwind.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
get it. I'm not
I get
even
it,
going to
it's
start.
always like
It's always
that.
like
Yeah.
How do you find adjusting with times and then dropping what you're doing to then organise to come to, say, Perth for a show? How do you fit in all that into your
It's
life?
all scheduled. It's all it's all a schedule. You just make it work. It's like playing Tetris.
Okay.
There's no continuity
Tetris.
to a performance like. Really?
Yeah, we love it. I love it.
No, we were talking about
Great game. Get into it. Tetris. Get into it. It's when that's what you do full time, you make it work. Yeah, and you just plan it all out. You know ahead of time what gigs are coming up, and you make your plans to travel. And I love traveling. The last 6 weeks, I've just been living out of my suitcase. Every weekend, I've been somewhere different around Australia. So I've been coming back home for like 3-4 days and taking off again.
Are you loving this weather in Perth at the moment? It's winter, but it's sunny.
The sun is deceiving. Because I went out for a walk this morning. It was sunny and blue skies. It was freezing.
I know.
I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But it is much nicer than Melbourne at this time of the year. That's for sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I've been here in summer. Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Tell me about, like, when you're a kid, what were some of the best jobs that you did in comedy? Like, when I was a kid? Yeah. What sort of, or
good question.
Did you get on any shows or?
As a child, I didn't get on many shows. More as an adult, I got on shows. Like I did Thank God You're Here, stuff like that. I did an ABC show called Prank Patrol, which was like Candid Camera but for kids.
Okay.
And funnily enough, both of those shows have a level of live theatrics to it and TV because they're recorded in a way where you don't stop. So they want people who have theatrical experience but can do it on TV.
Yeah.
It's because they know that when you're on stage and in theatre, you don't stop. You keep going. Exactly. As a kid, I did more commercials. I appeared on more just commercials. I did all the pasta sauce. I did Zaffarelli pasta. I did Legos. I did. There's a restaurant chain in Melbourne, particularly. It's called La Porchetta. I did commercials for them. I don't think you have. You have one here.
I thought we had it if we had it and then we missed it.
Yeah.
I have seen
It's
it.
big in Melbourne. It's a big Melbourne.
It's like
maybe we
huge
tried.
chain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I did all those kinds of commercials.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you get paid with money versus product?
Not for Zaffarelli pasta. I got paid with pasta and still got pasta left over.
Yeah.
It's been 25 years. Maybe boxes of pasta. I'll give it away now.
Like, WOG parents, they'll always have stuff with the use by date is just gone.
Oh, yeah.
So your use by
it's
date
still
is
good.
rubbed
Still
off.
good.
Yeah. It hasn't gone off.
No, it's still good.
Stuff.
Even medicine, still good. They buy the 10 boxes of Panamax
Yeah.
Yes.
that they don't use.
The 10 boxes.
Yeah, well, they come down to 99 cents each. Box of
Right.
Panamax,
You
right?
guys will get them.
Yeah, they buy them in bulk. And they
But
will
they don't use-
expire.
Yeah.
And they'll still, good enough for a headache, that kind of thing. No, it was as a kid. It was interesting. As a kid, I'll tell you something funny. As a kid, when you work in TV, you have to have permission from your school to be able to work. Because you actually are working professionally. Like you're getting paid. You don't have a tax file number yet because you're underage. So it goes through other ways to get paid. But you are getting paid. But they can't take you out of school unless you're doing well at school, or the principal has to sign off on it. So if you're a troublemaker or you're failing in your class, the principal's allowed to say, we don't let this, we will not let this kid out of school to go.
So are you telling us you were like?
I was okay enough. I was good enough to when a job did come up that I could take, I could get that paperwork signed. Yeah. So I don't know if it's the same these days, but you needed permission from the school. Yeah. And the employment production agency to have this paperwork. It was like government stuff that has to be done. Right. So I have to go to the school, the principal to sign off where you were. Yeah, that you were absent from school because you weren't sick, you were actually working as a child. So it's very interesting working as a kid.
Hey, so did your dad get you an agent?
Yeah, because he had it was the same agency he was with. So he was like, put my son there too. And I remember my dad was lovely in this way. Our agent would ring because they ring at the time.
Sorry, I don't know why we're laughing because it should come normal to us how he's speaking.
I actually know you more speaking in an accent than I do speaking. All right,
from now on, let's do all in the accent. That's it. So
turn it around.
What happened was my agent would ring
and off his character. Come on, keep going.
I can't cross over. I can't. Now you put him in. This is harder than the comedy lounge. So the agent would ring. Damn it. No, it's coming. It's coming. The agent would ring, and they'd offer like my dad because you got to audition for stuff first. You don't very rare you just get it. Yeah. You know, so you get an audition offer. So my dad would get an audition offer because he had a good character face. So you get all these Greek and Spanish and Italian roles.
He was like the chiseled Ridge Forrester kind of thing.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but. He was a wog, and he had a woggy face. Woggy features. So the agent would ring and say, Sebastiano, that was his name. Sebastiano, you've got an audition, blah, blah, blah. And he'd go, hey, what about my son? And like, he's not ringing him for like, your son's got nothing at the moment, you know? And what about for my son, you know? So my dad was always looking out for me, which was nice.
Good.
This reminds me of the other characters that you do. What's
Pasquale.
The lady's name with the
Maria.
Maria, she is.
What
Maria.
else would it be?
Yes.
Which is my mum's name.
They're hanging down.
Yeah.
They are hanging down.
Yeah. No bra. No bra. If I put a bra on, I can't move them around for comedic purposes.
Does an older lady wear a bra?
I don't know. Does she? I hope not.
No, I think it's good to do. Throw me with all that.
I mean, talking about outfits, I do like a guy in a suit. I'm just going to put it out there. I think it looks smart. It looks classy.
Even in bed?
To start off with. Yeah. So I do appreciate when you do wear a suit.
The weddings.
It actually looks lovely.
Thank you.
Do actually make the effort versus T-shirt and jeans.
Sure.
Well, look, we did a bit of research and we saw a few of your stand-up routines and you're wearing a nice suit.
Because that was Crazy Rich Ethnics. We decided we'd have this uniform, this kind of suit uniform, which worked really well. It makes you look a bit sharp.
It does.
Do you know who always wears a suit? Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld, when he does stand-up.
Oh, and sneakers?
I don't know. I've never seen a photo of it. He might, but he always wears a suit, and it's just.
So you wear the wedding shoes when you wear your suit?
Well, yeah. I do a lot of weddings. I do a lot of MC weddings. So I actually wear a suit a lot of through the year. So
that's good.
But that's for weddings, of course.
That's
so do you MC as well?
Yeah. I do a lot of MC.
Okay, so you MC, you got your radio show as well?
Got the radio show in Melbourne just on Wednesday nights, just community radio, just a bit of fun. I've always been involved in radio. That's a 2-hour show, but I've been involved in radio since I was a teenager, and I've worked in Melbourne. I've worked for like Fox and I don't know what the equivalent, Stereo, whatever the equivalent you've got here. In Sydney, it's 2Day FM. For us, it's Fox FM. You'd have an equivalent. You would have an equivalent here.
We don't listen to
So
we just listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and your own. Is that? So I work in radio. I worked all over.
Yeah.
So good.
It's always been radio's great fun. Really great fun.
Yeah. Okay, that's
It's always
good.
been part of my life in some way.
Just going into a little bit of gossip that's happening
I love
into the world. What do you think of Al Pacino having his new baby at 82 years of age?
Well, that's some strong sperm. I tell you what.
By the time that child is 10,
no,
I don't want to say anything.
What's funny is that this has come like weeks after learning that Robert De Niro had a kid at 79.
What is happening?
And rumor has it that Al Pacino is going to ask Robert De Niro to be the godfather of
and then they're going to make a movie about it.
Probably.
And then it's going to be Godfather.
What are we up to?
4 or 5?
Do you know how Al Pacino picked up his 29-year-old girlfriend?
No, you're going to tell us.
With one of his most famous lines. Yeah, have a look at my little friend.
Say hello to.
Yeah, it is actually. Say hello.
Say hello to. Can you do that?
Say hello to my little friend.
Okay. I like your dad's accent.
Yeah, that's the best.
Say hello to my little friend. I don't know if that would have made into the movie or not.
Gosh, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting, Al Pacino.
Yeah, I know. And I wonder, as a 29-year-old girl.
Yeah, what's going on there? Like
how do you, she wouldn't have even known any of his movies. No. She wouldn't have even gone, oh, wow, I've always loved that movie.
He's 53.
Can't wait to date him and have a baby.
Have we just increased his age? Because he was 82.
No, the media did. Went from 82 to 83 overnight.
It makes a difference.
Watch next week. He'll be like, he's dead and he's had a baby. You know,
it's going to be Anna Nicole Smith all over again with that oil tiger.
I googled how personal can we get on this podcast? I googled how long a man can produce.
Right.
I was intrigued because if he's doing it,
because
if he's doing it, like I'm in luck. Like I've got nothing to worry about. And apparently it never stops producing, but the quality of it decreases, right?
Like slower.
But it never stops, though. So it is genuinely possible. Because I was like, is it even producing at 83? Like, is there even anything? Has he bottled it up and put it in the fridge and taken it out?
Maybe it's some he had frozen earlier. But that's what I mean.
Maybe he did.
Here's some I froze earlier, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. But still, I don't. Yeah, even her. Like, what's wrong with you?
The poor child.
Yeah, and the child too. Of course.
Anyway.
No.
Anyway.
Each to their own. That's Hollywood. Yeah, exactly.
Hollywood is a weird.
It's its own world, and people in their own.
Now in your lineup, that you did like last night, you're with a different sort of batch of comedians that I'm used to seeing you with. So do you change your comedy routine to suit that kind of, or do you just do your regular?
No, I change it a little bit because I know the environment that you're in and the audience you're getting. So I can't just do like straight Italian or wog stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I do a little bit of it, but I pull back on the wogness, the level of wogness.
That's what I thought.
Because you've got a predominantly Australian audience. And then I'm working on other material that's non-wog at all. It's my own observational stuff, which seems to be working. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying delivering that. I think my love will always be with my ethnic humour. That will always be my love. And I'm planning my first solo tour for mid next year.
Fantastic.
So I'll be coming back to Perth. I'm coming to the Astor. It's already booked.
Okay.
So
that'll be great.
It's 800 seats. So
it should be all right.
Yeah,
it should be all right.
Should be all right. We'll get at least 8. So that'll
80, and we'll work on the other zeros.
We'll work on that. We'll work on the other zeros. So we'll see how we go.
To get you back on as well.
That'll be great. Yeah, that'll be fantastic. So, and that will still be predominantly more ethnic based stuff, but I'm testing the non-ethnic stuff in little clubs because I'd love to feed that into the main show as well, so that there's a bit of variety.
Mixture there.
Yeah, but when you've done ethnic stuff for many, many years and then you start to deliver some non-ethnic stuff and you get laughs out of it, it does warm you a bit because you kind of go, there's other parts of my brain that are working as well, you know, and or at least it's got legs and you can keep working on it.
Exactly. So. Do you have any little traditions that you do before a show? You never say good luck, right?
You don't say good luck, you say break a leg, or you say chookers. It's sort of fist pumping these days. Comic
It's like an American thing. Like it's like an American thing. Yo, bro.
I took it one step further. I did the groin pump, and they said no, not. Is that a Melbourne thing or no?
Did you do that with another guy or another girl?
I couldn't do it with another girl. I'd be cancelled. So, of course, I did it with another girl. No, I don't have any traditions. I pace a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Get rid of that energy.
I listen to the people before me. I mean, this is not really a tradition. A lot of comics do this, but when you're in a lineup, it's important to listen to who's before you for two things. One, for hear what they're laughing at, what sort of
picking up.
you know, and that's when you start to go, right, they're laughing at just the dirty stuff, for example. You know, the other stuff's not fine. But you also got to listen because it's quite common. You might have some content that's very similar.
I know.
And then you're like, and it's happened before. I've dropped jokes on the spot because they've done my joke or they've done. It's too similar. Yeah. I come on next and it's like, this guy's just copying the first guy, you know, and you're not going to get a laugh because they've just heard that content.
What if that throws you though? What if?
Yeah, sometimes it's really shitty, but it's just the nature of it.
Open with that.
Yeah, you got to drop it. Yeah.
Do you have right? Here's my potential 5 openings and my potential 5.
Well, this is why I think you should always start to jump on stage when you have quite an amount of material.
Yeah.
Because you will be thrown if all you've got in your life is 5 minutes, and then the person before you is doing very similar content. You've got nothing.
You've got nothing.
I know.
You know, like you got to jump on the spot. And it happened to me in Melbourne at the Athenaeum Theatre. The one person before me did something really similar, and we didn't know each other's content. You know, so I dropped it, which was a bit of a shame for me because
I knew it was going to work.
I knew it would work, but I dropped it, and I'm glad I dropped it because I knew that it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
They just heard the same kind of joke.
Yeah. How long is your segment in this show?
At the Comedy Lounge, it's just a 15-minute spot. And we do like a 6:30 and an 8:30. But everyone has anywhere between 10 to 20. The headliners have 20. And because there's so many of us, you just do like a spot. Yeah.
Where are the other comedians from?
They're from all over. Brisbane, Melbourne with me. Sydney, they're from all over. Some are from Perth.
Were they doing a lot of jokes about the pandemic and COVID?
In this set that I'm with here, a little bit, not an overdose of it.
Yeah,
because we're phasing out a bit. We're phasing.
Can we tell you, like we said to George as well, we're over it.
Yeah,
I think because we didn't last as long as everyone else.
No.
But we went to a comedy lineup not long ago, and every single they just opened with COVID.
So
and we were like, oh my god!
I've got one gag, and it's at Melbourne's expense.
Yeah,
to do with COVID.
Okay.
One, it always gets a laugh. It's almost a one-liner.
Yeah,
and then I'll move on.
And then
Perfect.
When we were just out of COVID, it was more relatable.
Yes. No, of course.
Yeah.
And you get to laugh about
it depends where you like. In Melbourne, it still hits home.
Yeah.
Only because of the experience we had.
Through.
But once you start hitting other different cities, if they didn't go through what we went through, it doesn't resonate.
Gets it.
You know?
Yeah.
So it just depends what audience you're getting. But yes, we can't keep just making COVID jokes.
It gets really boring.
Yeah.
And do you ever random question? I was asking Siri a few things last night.
Siri?
And she never listens to me. I was wondering, and then I thought I'm going to ask you, do you ever talk to Siri, and does she ever let you down, and do you ever call her?
Yeah, she stands me up. Bloody asked her out on a date.
I talk to Siri every day.
I can't get a date from a real person, not even from a computer. Bloody AI is failing me. Aye, that's how the wogs say. Aye. I go, aye, that's my back pain. Aye.
Just brought back memories of my nonna.
Aye.
Oh God.
Siri, no, I don't. It's not even working.
And if she
phone.
doesn't listen to you, do you call her names? So
I think everybody does.
And do you say thank you to her?
When she listens.
I do.
Where she
and I think I'm the only one doing this, and I just wanted to ask a random question.
No, Siri. No. Siri.
Now, were you on Fat Pizza as well?
I was in the new revamped version that came out in the last few years. I was very lucky to score the role of Lino, which is Paulie Fennick's cousin.
Right.
Right. And it started off. So I did 2 seasons of the new one, and it started off as just like a 2-episode quick couple of scenes, and then it was really well received, those scenes. So when he brought me back on, he I was a supporting lead through it, the whole series. So, and there was a whole episode dedicated to my character, which is, as an actor,
that's huge.
It's a dream come true.
Yeah.
To have an episode dedicated around your character, and what a buzz! There we go. We just got we all collectively got distracted.
Then we got a
they're turning around. They're turning around. Here we go. Come on, yeah! Oh, there he is.
They knew that we're talking to a wog.
How dare you interrupt? I know.
I actually got to say I didn't even look.
Yeah,
it was
so
us.
proud.
It was us. Yeah.
Tracy is so bad to concentrate on things, and she's been so focused.
She's been very good.
But I think that car went past because I was going to ask you your number plate on Fat Pizza.
Oh, because the character has his own car.
Yeah. He's
Corona.
it's a Corona.
Coronavirus.
And then the number plate is virus.
Yeah, virus. Yeah, because it's a Corona.
I found that
hilarious. Mind you, I don't write that's all Paulie Phoenix writing, of course. So I'm just,
that's so good.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a bit of a dream come true because I used to watch it as a kid, and I used to because it's Sydney, but it's always Sydney based, so I fly to Sydney to do it. But as a kid, I would call my agent and go, "Can you find me a gig on Fat Pizza? Can you find me an audition?" Oh, they're not casting anyone in Melbourne. And I just became a fan. And 20 years later,
here we are.
You manifested.
You know what? You do.
Yeah,
and
you really do.
Who would have thought that he'd bring back a reboot?
Great.
And that
we love it.
George is a big part of Fat Pizza as well. He plays Ronnie McDougall. That's an ongoing.
I gotta say, it's a little scary for me to see him in that character.
Yeah, he's a bit freaky. He does it well, doesn't he?
It is.
Yeah. He's got that. No, he's great.
So good.
A lot of fun.
We wish you all the best with your
show. Thank you very much.
More show tonight.
So there's one more show tonight, and then
you fly back. What's after that?
Fly back tomorrow morning. I'm back here. Is it the Royalty Theatre? Royal Theatre?
Regal.
Oh, here.
Regal. Sorry, I had to think.
You're right. It's a Regal Theatre. I'm there in November. They're doing an Italian song competition or something.
Okay. So what's your part in that?
So I don't sing. No. So
give us a few notes.
Because it's a competition, the judges need to debrief at some point.
Oh, okay. So I'm there. I'm a comedian.
I like it. Very well played. Yeah, they have to decide on a winner, and so they need time to go and do that. So I'm coming in as halftime entertainment kind of thing. So I'm back in Perth for that. It's just a quick one-nighter, and that's all I've got booked for now. That's later in the year. But I'm working towards, at the end of this year, the tickets will already be on sale for my tour, which will be one show at the Astor Theatre. Even if I can half fill that place,
front row seats as the ladies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's
absolutely.
Great.
My first
wanted to get that on camera.
Put him on the spot.
That's all right.
It's contract now.
Okay, it's done.
My first 2 unpaid tickets. Done.
You've got to sell
798 to go. Yeah, but it's my first tour. It's been a long time coming. I've got to try it at least once.
Absolutely.
If it goes well, it goes well.
Yes.
If it doesn't go, as well as I thought, that's cool. I will always be doing collaborative shows and stuff.
And it is going to be Italian.
It will be. Excuse me, predominantly, ethnic-based stuff.
Good,
but
good.
It's all English. We're all speaking English. It's not, Greeks, Italians, Lebanese, Aussies.
You're going to be doing some accents for us.
We'll do some accents, yeah. And one of my characters might make a special appearance in it as well. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So that might... I'm working on something.
As long as you're talking in that heavy accent.
Well, that character will definitely have
I can't wait.
the heavy accent.
I can't wait. Can we end off with a bit of your character? Just for a
please. We didn't get
hours?
enough.
What do you want me to say? Because I can't do the woman because I'm a Norwegian.
No, you're not in character. No, just speak.
What do you like?
It's like when people say do something funny.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to say that.
Tell us a joke. How about we just continue, just finish off with...
Maybe you can say
I want to
goodbye.
say big thank you.
Yes. Yeah, big thank you to the ladies.
Yes.
To the ladies' lounge.
Thank you, in your accent.
Okay. Thank you very much to the ladies' lounge suite. And it's a bit of sweet. Yeah, from here. It's bloody IKEA here. And very sweet to be here with you both. You're very nice and look much better than my wife. And if you buy for single, I'll take you home. I got a suite of my own. Thank you very much.
Thank
It's been
you.
great. This has been fun. Thanks so much.
Thank
Bye, everyone.
you.